presence with us at the Parrsboro United Baptist Church. As our custom is, not only welcome you, but thank you for making it to this house of worship. You had other options, but it seemed good to you to be in the house of worship, and in particular, this one. We saw 3 Sundays ago that Jesus is a very singular character. And it is good to begin thinking about Jesus at this time, because we're just entering that period when we think of how he came down to bring blessing to not some humanity, but to all humanity. Remember the angel's words to the shepherds when they announced Jesus appearing on earth. They said, "Go and tell this good news, not to some people, but to all." That's how powerful our Savior is. He is able to save to the end, to the utmost. Not some, but all. And the only ones that will not be saved are those who have not trusted him. I trust you have. And that if you have not, this very hour, you will. Have you ever heard it said about you or someone else? You're just like your mother. Or you're just like your father. As one songwriter says, I think I'm beginning to walk like my father, talk like my father, and perhaps even dance like my father. Nothing wrong with that. Which parent does not want their sons to imitate them, except in those things concerning which they are ashamed of themselves? But as surely as it is something worth the while, say, yeah, look at your parent. Imitate them. It's a wish, at least it should be, the desire of every Christian, that it may be said about them, you are just like your Savior. It should be pride that should be said about any of us. As just about a figure to graduate from high school, my literature and English teacher offered to throw a party for those of us who attended her class. And at the party, she invited the head or the principal of the school, who took time to show up. But then we noticed there was some wine, some whiskey in our clothing, wherever compartment she kept, and said, "May we have some of that?" So she said, "Make sure you drink it before the principal comes." But everybody turned and looked at me. "But Emmanuel doesn't drink, he's a Christian." Boy, I felt ashamed, even after 18 years and an older boy, to be singled out, not to have that wine or whiskey, just because I was a Christian. I felt bad. When I look back, I wish there would be more instances like that, when I was stayed away from what is evil in the name of Christianity. Because the Jesus who came to save me, came to save me from smoke and drink and illicit sex and everything else that is evil. And to be credited with being different because I'm attached to that name. I should have been proud of that. But it spoke to the fact that I had some religion. But as Ruth said earlier, I could not attest to the fact that I had a personal relationship with Jesus. And that's what makes the difference between religion and true Christianity. Religion has that umbrella of a God somewhere, whereas Christianity has about it that clear note of a personal relationship, not with a dead or capricious God, but with a very clear and personal Savior. And this is where our text is bringing us. Ephesians is written not to Jews who have grown up understanding and knowing the commandments and the way of God. It is written to people who are foreign to this living God, who are following their own gods, many of them, gods of thunder, gods of fertility, gods of the mountain, gods of everything else. And now they're introduced to this one significant being who is the creator of the entire cosmos and holds it up in his hands and indeed sustains it by the power of his being. And as they hear of him and get attached to him, Paul says, you are now linked to your Creator. But it's not just you, but it is also along with you, those who have tasted and known the kindness of the Lord through this person called Jesus. And as we sit here together and share in this word, let us then examine ourselves. Am I in the rank and file of those? Am I one with Jesus? Well, those then are the elements of oneness that we should look at that are outlined, especially in the third verse. And the apostle draws our attention to the fact that with Christ, we are one body. Even though our fingers and nails and hair and toes, I don't know if our feet or hooves, but they're part of me. I can say fingernail or toenail, you don't belong to me. No. Every bit is part of me. Notice, Jesus has come to make a people for himself. And so in making that people for himself, he links himself to that people. They are his body. He is their head. All the thinking, all the direction is in himself. All the wisdom is in himself. They are just linked to him and are his followers. That is why he's the head. They are his followers. So, we are bonded to Christ. Bonded to Christ, that now we may be one body. He is the head. We are his followers. Bonded with him eternally. That's a big blessing. And see, that we grow in this relationship. Our Jesus, as Christian believers, wants us to feel about each other just the way Jesus feels about us. Does Jesus feel me, understand me, take me, and own me to be his own? Does Jesus feel you, own you, and take you to be his own? If that's what he feels about us, that is what we should feel about each other. And that is why when it's announced that there is a death in the Bowden family, it affects one of us. Any sense of right feeling moves along with our sister and says, just what you feel, I want to feel with you. We are one body with Christ and consequently with each other. But we realize, understand, and apply that to ourselves. Not only are we one body, he who makes us one body fills us, for it says the fullness. Jesus takes away from us longings. We all have longings. As one man would say, you may be in a party. So in fact, the late Billy Graham, the drinks are flowing, people are dancing, music is playing, and then for just about 30 seconds, you're suddenly alone until somebody wakes you up as if from a reverie. Hey, oh, where are you? Some of us may even be seated here, and yet that moment will come. You're just longing for something out there. That's a longing for God, which no one can satisfy except God alone. Jesus feels that longing. When Jesus comes in, all we want is more and more and more and more of himself and what relates to him. If anything doesn't relate to him, it's repulsive. Because we know it doesn't matter how attractive it is, in the end it's destructive. So he fills us. And Jesus takes away from us emptiness. Why is life like meaningless, purposeless? And it is without Christ, without hope. Or without Christ, without hope in the world. As Ephesians itself tells us. And Jesus takes away our waywardness. We are all wayward. But he takes away our flaws. He also takes away our inadequacies. Because he takes away our flaws, our mistakes, our faults, our failures. We're inadequate. I can't be this. I cannot go. I cannot. He takes away the I cannot. And he brings in the I can. And the explanation is very clear. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Have you heard of a young girl or a young man that says, I'm not quite happy, but when I get married, I'm really going to be happy? That one is headed for a disastrous marriage. Don't take your happiness into marriage and hope that marriage will make you happy. You must take your happiness into marriage and then double your happiness, your woman's and yours, or your husband's and yours. But if you're hoping the marriage is going to make you happy, you are going in for the wrong reason. Adam, when he was created, was not unhappy. And it seems, just on the surface, he was not even unaware that he needed something until God said, it is not good. So it was not a half man or three-quarter man or 99% man. It was a full man, fully filled, who was going then to meet with that other person, fully filled, so that it would be two, making one special one, and so becoming by far better. Has Christ filled you full at personal level? And are you satisfied in your commitment to God? And is that what you are bringing to this church and in an area wherein you are identified as Christ's personal belonging? The people that are one with Christ bring that with them. Are you one of those? We all long for company, we all long for companionship and so on. Family and friends mean a lot to us. But if we hope they're the ones who are going to complete us, we're in the wrong. We must be a full people, bring our full blessing to them, to be utterly of uttermost blessing to them. Well, that body, that fullness, then he fills all and is in all, which is completeness. Now, the distinction between fullness and completeness is that I may be full alone. But then I realize, I'm not quite human until I'm relational. So I must have those relationships that begin to bring the part of me that says you can get along with that one, and 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 everybody. And as the text says, so far as it depends upon you, live at peace, not with some people, but with all people. Isn't that what our God calls us to? For when Jesus Christ comes down to earth, he's not coming to a nice and obedient people, a people that are fully pleasing to him, the people that have richly satisfied him, and the people about whom he can say, without you, I am not God. No, he is coming to altogether filthy, heart-rending, and disturbing characters, since they are plural. And he wants to take that bit out of them that breaks his heart, that makes him sad about them, and bring in instead what is good. That's what he has come to do. That's why we value him, because it takes our weakness and brings in strength. He takes away sin and brings in sanctity. He takes away death and brings in life. He takes away shame and brings honor. He takes away discord and establishes harmony. Only Jesus does that. The one who brings in himself to fill one and then to fill all, that we may complete each other, complete in him and complete amongst ourselves. So Jesus removes lack and blesses his people, because Jesus is a mighty God, the Almighty, the God who is strong on behalf of his people. This is the God who knits his people's hearts to himself and then to one another. This is the God who pays by his people. So Jesus fills, and he feels full. And then this Jesus, therefore, owns his people, not only at personal level, but also at collective levels. That's why they call it his body. If one suffers, all suffer. If one rejoices, all rejoice. If one gets hurt, all get hurt. If one is delighted, all get delighted. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. One people, because one in Christ. Jesus loved his own who were in the world. This is how he completes us. And he loved them to the end. Which is only another way of saying, whatever is missing, whatever is not there, whatever is longed for, whatever is desired, whatever they craving, Jesus won't miss it. Only he wants. Twice he must die. So who is my satisfier? Who is yours? Who is it that is your deepest longing? Who is your richest and best treasure? Who is it? If Jesus saw and yours and me together, you will say Jesus. Because that's what he died for, to enrich humanity. Do I sense this truth? Do I say afresh who Jesus is to me? Do. May God help us get there. Because Jesus appears to each one of us, that he may say to you and me,